I know a lot of people have inquired about Lily's status. Lily sustained a lower leg injury, and she won't be participating in any NCAA tournament games, but she will be with us.
All right.
And that's probably all I'm going to address regarding Lily. So let's talk about the tournament.
All right, Coach, we'll start with David and then we'll go to Joe.
Hey, Dawn, thanks for doing this. Obviously, tough news about Lily, but it's not the first time you guys have had to go into a tournament with a major injury. The last time in 17, when you lost Elena, you went to the lineup to play a little more speedy. No, Lily kind of came off the bench, but is a speedier lineup, maybe putting another guard in there to start, an option going forward?
I mean, we've been working a couple of things throughout the week, and we've been pleasantly surprised with some of the changes that we'll make. We'll leave it at that, and we'll once we play Mercer, we'll unveil what that is.
Joe and then Greg.
Dawn, I do want to talk about the tournament just with Lily. Just what was your conversation just like with her? I just know she has to be devastated knowing that she can't compete and run with you guys in the tournament.
I mean, anytime a young person, the game that they love is snatched away from them for injury or any other reason, they're devastated. But I'll tell you this, Lily took it, much like you see Lily out there playing out there on the floor. Super energetic, took the onus off of her and put it back on the team. And she's gonna be an unofficial coach on our sidelines, and she's gonna get her players to play at maximum effort, just like she did.
Greg and then Reggie.
Dawn, just looking at your regional, what do you make of it? What are your first impressions? And does this tournament feel, I know we talk a lot about parity all the time, but does this feel about as wide open as a tournament as you can remember?
I mean, I like our region. I would have said that if we were in any other region. Yeah, the tournament feels wide open. That's why we feel good about where we are. And we feel good about where we left off a week ago. And no matter who you play, you're gonna have to play, and it's the first round, it's the second round, as you advance into this tournament, it gets harder and harder. No matter if it's parity field or not, it just gets harder. Your preparation is the same, but it just seems like it's always an uphill battle for us anyway. So we'll look at that way no matter who we're playing. We got an uphill battle that we feel real good about, and we control our own destiny. If we don't beat ourselves up, I like what we're doing out there on the floor.
Reggie and then Mitch.
Obviously, in this day and age of COVID-19, do you go out there knowing you've met a big hurdle by just being able to go to the tournament, also kind of holding your collective breath and everything goes smoothly?
I mean, we're super excited. I mean, I was excited just to be in a room with our players, to finally, some of our younger players, to finally see our name across the screen, and to see them super excited. And they don't really get too excited, but I know that their eyes lit up when they saw South Carolina across the screen. And also Aaliyah kind of whispered a question in my direction, and she's like, so does that mean we play I think it's Florida State and Oregon State? So I was like, yes, that means if we take care of business and we get to the second round, that's who we'll play. And so it's kind of cool, because this is her first time going through it, and her mind is spinning, and she's trying to see the big picture, and I love that about her.
Mitch and then Keith.
Coach, you talk about their minds spinning and getting this opportunity finally, especially not getting the chance last year. Now, we talked about it in the SEC tournament. For them to come out here in this first game, how much is the onus on just making sure that flip is switched and not having to worry about having to do it in the second half and make adjustments, but being the ones to be the aggressors coming out?
Well, I mean, that is the plan, but again, it's their first time going through an NCAA tournament game. So I'm sure they'll have some jitters, but hopefully it won't be for long and we can jolt them back into being who we were, when we won the SEC tournament championship.
Keith and then Cam.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on being a #1 seed. So with Lily out, I'm not asking you to reveal anything, but just how has, LA, Anaya Russell, and Destiny Littleton, how have they been in practice? And have you seen, outside of LA, anything that gives you more confidence in the next players up? Because clearly, it's been a short bench in crunch time. And so how do you view it at this point in preparations for the NCAA tournament?
Let's just say that, I mean, they all are in a great place. LA, Destiny Littleton, Anaya, they're all in a great place. They understand who we lost and the contributions that Lily gave us. They want to do their parts and, but they can't be Lily. They can't. They just can only be themselves and they can only do what they're good at. And that's all we ask them to do is do what you're good at, not anything more or less or imitate or emulate. Just be good with what you're at and just be ready when your number's called. Because I'm quite sure all of their numbers will be called in the tournament. They just have to be ready and be productive.
Cam and then Joe.
Coach, you kind of talked about a lot of these players not having been through this before. Does that make it a little bit easier that this tournament's going to look so much different than any of the tournaments in the past? And how have you kind of had those conversations with your team about what to expect in the bubble format and it being kind of a pandemic tournament and how different it's going to be?
I mean, we really haven't talked a whole lot. I mean, we talked a whole lot about what are we bringing? What are we packing? Every time we went on the road, it was a bubble-like setting. So it'll probably be just heightened 10 times more because really they don't even want you to come out of your rooms. Everybody gets their own room. So for us, we're going to do things that will hopefully get them in a place where that we can have a little bit of fun with them being in their rooms, just having, certain things delivered to their room, set outside their room, they open it up, they're there. So we're gonna do some Zooms. We're gonna do some, some exercise Zooms. We're gonna take 11 basketballs, make sure they have balls, just to touch the balls, hold the balls, shoot the balls, dribble the balls in their rooms, just so the quarantining part won't be such a drag. We don't want them lying in bed for 16 hours. We want them active and doing things and getting their minds right for what we're faced with. So a lot of interaction will be virtually. So we will look forward to that. But, bottom line, this team wants to play, so they're going to do what we're asking them to do to play the game that they love and during the most exciting times of their college careers.
Joe and then Brandon.
Dawn, I know this is a new team, but is there a sense maybe of unfinished business because of what happened last year due to the pandemic? And does that play a role at all in the mindset like, hey, we're here. This is where we wanted to be last year. Let's go finish what we started a year ago, even though it's a new season, a new team, and I understand all that.
No, I don't think that's the sentiment of this team. I think this team's identity is a lot different than last year's team. So this team is just continuing trying to figure it out. Last year's team really knew, what our potential was and how to cater to that. This year, we're just trying to figure it out, and they're just trying to find their way, just play their best basketball on each day and not look ahead and just be in the moment. Last year's team, we had a player that could see the big picture, two of them actually, and Ty and Kiki, because they had been all the way to the championship. So they had an idea of what it took to get back there. And they didn't wait until the tournament to do that. They did it during the year. And this team is is doing it during the year, but they have no idea. They have no idea about how to win a national championship, and we just have to bring them on along.
Brandon and then Matt.
Hey, Dawn, just what was your reaction to Gino testing positive? And does that kind of serve as a reminder that even though you're having a tournament this year, that the pandemic is still going on?
I mean, it's super sorry to hear that Gino tested positive. And it just continues to raise awareness. No one's safe. Everybody's got to follow protocols. Even when you follow protocols, you reduce, you surely don't prevent it. So, I hope he is symptom free, like the articles are saying, and he'll find his way reunited with his team in San Antonio in the near future.
Matt and then Pete.
Dawn, you spoke about how mentally taxing this season has been and how challenging it's been. Not even the regular season, but the tournament was mentally tough as well. How much do you feel about whoever wants to win this NCAA tournament this year, especially, is going to be the one who is mentally the toughest through it all?
I do. I do think that there's a physical aspect to winning an NCAA tournament championship. To the mental part of it. I thought, in 2017 when we won the national championship, we had a little bit of both. But when you're hit with an injury like, we were with Elena Coates, it rocks you a little bit, and then you get back to your equilibrium and figure out, okay, how? How? And I thought we were wounded at that point, but we weren't done. I mean, we had people that fought, and I kind of feel that same thing with this team. And that, do we feel bad that Lili's hurt? Absolutely. But then we got to get back on that horse and say, okay, let's figure some things out. Let's, how do we get her contributions into other people as quickly as possible? So it was great to, have this week of practice in which we moved some pieces around, and I hope, with a couple of more practices that we'll continue to, attack it and look good doing it, because it did not look bad at all. But we still got to play some basketball games for us to, prove that, it could certainly help us win a national championship.
Pete and then David.
Hey, Dawn. Given COVID, just asking, is everybody healthy, safe right now? And what are the plans for how soon are you guys going to Texas to get in that bubble down in San Antonio?
Everybody's healthy. We got a message from our trainer. We got all negatives today. That's 7 days in a row, which is pretty good. We leave tomorrow at 9 a.m.
David and then Cam.
Dawn, you've been used to playing the first two games at home at CLA for the past few years. How strange is it going to be to, be out in Texas and walking out on a strange floor?
I'm going to be glad just because we're able to play, but we'll try to bottle up what we've been used to playing in the first two rounds. We'll bottle up, what it sounded like in Greenville last week. But most importantly, everybody has been in a situation where they've played in front of very little fans. So I don't think that will be, a factor in us playing well or not. We're used to it. We got to be the better team whenever the games are.
Cam and then Reggie.
Coach, I'm not sure how much film you've watched on Mercer this year, but I was just curious what your level of familiarity is with that program and what Susie's been able to do with that team over the past couple seasons.
I haven't seen Susie this year. I'll let you know a little bit more tomorrow. But Susie, great soul, great coach. She texts me, every now and then. So, we do have some familiarity with each other off the floor. Haven't seen them play this particular year.
Reggie, and then we'll wrap it up with Pete.
Just a little bit about Olivia Thompson, Lexington kid who obviously did not get a chance to participate in the tournament last year. Just how neat of a thrill is it for you to watch somebody like that who went to your program obviously as a walk-on?
I mean, it's super cool. When we've had, local great players on our team, we've done well. Looking forward to living out, our dream of playing in the NCAA tournament. But it's a great Thompson family is a great family that's been very, very supportive of her. And I'm sure they're going to make their way down to San Antonio.
And the last question to Keith.
Hey, Coach. So ideally, you've had time off. Everybody's got fresh legs now. But with the staggering days of the tournament, are you going to go with a shortened bench? Ideally, how many minutes for Destiny and Zaya?
I don't know. We're gonna go with winning the game. So however many, it's do or die. It's not, we can't save anything. There are games in between. I mean, there are days in between. So, this team wants to win. So we got to go with the players that have gotten us here, playing as many minutes as they have throughout the game. If we're able to find somebody that will step in and give us some quality minutes, I really don't mind that. It only helps our basketball team. But I do think that we'll have some players that will hold serve and help us. I really do believe that. I just think that, we've given them their roles again. We explained it to them. Coming out of that meeting, we probably had some of our best practices. That's everybody just having a better understanding of what we need them to do. And it's great. It's great. It's great. Every now and then players need reminders of what their role is. Cause I tell you, like I told them, there aren't going to be, players out here just going all of a sudden score 30 points. It happens few and far between. I'm saying it's never going to happen, but usually the players that have produced will produce, and you may get a bump here or there from somebody else. And we're hoping that's us. But we also have to stick with the knowns.